Well, there's two areas that I'll talk about because I have a number of different interests. One is the use of private spaces in public environments. And that one is of interest because I found that if you give students opportunities to have private spaces so they could talk either to another person, to the instructor, or to a small group, there are particular kinds of learning that they can that they utilize in that sort of space, and it's a nice complement to the fully public nature of a lot of the online asynchronous discussion environments that I tend to teach in. So we've been looking at the different kinds of things people do in the public versus private contexts, and the private ones offer a place to express your insecurity or your anxiety to another person and get help with something, or to follow up on an interesting idea that's not actually directly connected to the discussion, the way it's proceeding, and I find that students really like this. It's like a mix between asynchronous and synchronous communications. It blurs those boundaries. Sometimes you can be online with somebody and send notes back and forth in an asynchronous discussion, but you're sending them almost synchronously. It's like having text messaging back and forth. Other times you can use text message, but use that in an asynchronous way. So I'm using this learning environment that Jim Hewitt and I have been working on, that he designed, called Pepper. And we're playing around with different ways of encouraging these different kinds of discourse, and looking at the kinds of learning that happens in those different situations. And the other piece that's interesting is community building, because particularly in graduate school, you want people to feel more connected to one another. And many of our students who join from a distance are very isolated. And so we are building different kinds of tools in Pepper to help people connect to one another, having little bios, having pictures, having a kind of a presence that lives on from one course and continues into another, having a community area with a class wall where people can write things, where they can text message each other. They can see who's online by their little icon, and so doing research into which of these kinds of tools seem to be the most valuable, which ones help students feel a sense of belonging, because that in the end will enhance their both their online experience and their overall graduate experience.